Hi, welcome to another video today. I'm a little bit different. We're going to ask the question, who is the false prophet within the futurist interpretation? All right, something that's interesting, this book here, the Revelation Commentary by Edward Hindson, he says that the false prophet is the Antichrist because the first time the word false prophet is used in the book of Revelation is in regard to the beast of the earth, and some see that beast as the Antichrist himself. However, I do think we do have to keep in mind here that John is sort of using this language of three, this unholy trinity. We have the dragon, which is the devil. We know that for a fact. The beast from the sea, which is borrowed from Daniel, and it represents these beasts that Daniel saw like a leopard. And those beasts we know represent kingdoms. So I think the beast from the sea represents the Roman Empire. Then the beast from the earth is Nero, because the number 666 probably does mean Nero Caesar in Hebrew, even though John writes in Greek. He would have been aware of gematria, the process in which you change words and names to a number. Now, another site another article talking about futurism does say that it's not the Antichrist, actually, it's someone who will probably work for him. But do remember that the false prophet is talking about the beast from the earth. It's just another title for that person. So we have here this unholy trinity of the dragon, the beast from the sea, the false prophet, or the beast from the earth. It's referring to the same person, which I think is the Emperor Nero. And this author here talks about that John would have had the image again of Nero being reborn, riding at the head of the Parthian army. Once again, that's the background of John's imagery. But also, false prophets were a part of the imperial cult that was around when John was writing at the time, and he's reminding his audience to follow Christ no matter what, no matter where it leads you, life or death. It's all about describing this satanic empire, this unholy trinity, which is different to the holy trinity that we know of, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. So it does seem that John is talking about three entities. He's using these symbols to describe the forces of evil that are ultimately destroyed in the end. But another point to mention is that Jesus said there will be many false prophets, many false Christs. That phrase is part of his main emphasis in his discourse within Matthew 24. And from there, the other writers would have taken from that Revelation, 2 Thessalonians, 1 Corinthians 14. I mean, even in the early church, in the first century, there were already false prophets. And so for the audience of the book of Revelation, there were false prophets everywhere. Those who were following the imperial cult, worshipping the other gods. This is all part of John's way of helping his audience. So to say it's someone in the future who will work for the Antichrist or is the Antichrist, it sort of destroys John's original intention of the book. It strips away its original meaning, and we have the tendency in our modern world to impose our 21st century Western ideas on ancient Middle Eastern texts. We really have to read them in the context in which they were written. So I believe that this false prophet is referring to someone in the first century, not someone in the future.